Oppo Find N6 just came out with an update, and man, it fixed a lot of things. Look at these photos to start with. Now look at this image. This is the before on the left and the after on the right. Now before, Oppo was blowing out photos, and I know it seems like it's blowing it out on the right, but not so when we take a closer look at this. This actually is a different day and a little bit different time of the day, unfortunately, but it's quite a bit cloudier on the second day. But I wanted to show you what happens when you zoom in on these. These are both actually 50 megapixel shots, and they are taken down the same street. And when you look at them closely, you can definitely see the difference here. Now, what it looks like to me is they got the white balance finally working like it's supposed to, and that's what was the problem before. If you look at these two, even though the one on the right, the newer shot, looks a little darker, or it did in the beginning, when you zoomed in, check it out, you can actually make out the sidewalk because it's balancing things a lot better. You can see the concrete and everything, and the color is much more accurate here on the newer update on the right. And you can see everything's just as clear. And just to prove to you that this is a different day, look at the tree here in the background. You know, there's quite a bit of growth difference. This is probably a couple weeks difference, and we've got a lot more greenery here on this tree. The detail and the signage all looks pretty much the same. I don't know if one's clearer than the other, but what is great is we've got the better white balance here. You can see the kind of added flowers here. So it's actually handling the shadows a little bit better here in the update. So you can see I'm excited about the update we just got on the Oppo Find N6. And it just kind of coincides with my 1 month with the Oppo. So let's get to it. Now, over the last month, I've actually tested this thing and compared to a lot of phones, the automatic V5, actually the OnePlus Open to start with, the Samsung Z Fold 7, and I've got several more to do. But in the process, I've learned a lot about this phone. And most recently, we just got that update, which really improved it. So with all these videos, one of the number one questions I've got was, is this going to be my daily driver? And so far, which phone do I prefer if not this one? And the answer is quite difficult. It's been quite a difficult decision for me. Do I like to daily drive this thing? I do. I've got one of my SIMs. I have two SIMs, one for my personal phone and one for my daily driver that I am testing. And right now, that's what's in this. And I really don't want to remove it. Matter of fact, on a daily basis, when I go to reach for either the Honor Magic V5, which is my daily driver, has my main SIM in it, or the Oppo Find N6, I tend to go for the Find N6. Why is that? Well, let's talk about that. A lot of it is because of the size of the screen. I really like the fact that this thing is huge. And when you put it here next to the Automatic V5, you see it's a little bit larger. It's not a lot larger. I mean, as far as width goes, it almost appears like the Honor is just a little bit wider. It is a little bit wider. And you can see that when you close them here. So here's why I reach for the Oppo more than the Honor right now. The Honor is a little bit wider, which is okay. And I like that on the front screen. And you can see that here. You can see it appears even a little bit wider, but that's because the corners are rounded and these are straight and flat. Now the Oppo is a little bit taller, so it gives you just a tiny bit more screen real estate as far as up and down, because this is a 6.6 inch versus a 6.5 inch screen, and that 5 inch on the Honor is because it's slightly wider. Now, does that really make a difference on a day-to-day? Probably not for most, but I do notice it. And what I really enjoy about this thing is the UI. I do like it better than the Honor's UI. And a lot of it is just simplicity on things. If I go in here and I'm looking for a certain app and I know it starts with an L, I hit L and there they are, just the L's. I don't have to search and go through all the different categories. Like here on the Honor, if I were to hit L, see, it has N is in there, M is in there, O is in there. Look at that, the L's are way at the top. So there's quite a bit of simple features like that make it easier. And even here in the folders, if you want to just find something that's hidden in a folder, and I've showed this many times, you can see there they're small, but if you slide it, those small ones become large, and you can just click on them and they open right up. Okay. I mean, that is just simple. Well, right here on the Honor, you can see you got the same folder here, and I have the Google Drive right there, as you can see, but I have to touch down there where it is and they're stacked. And you can see there's a whole lot more. And then I got to go to the drive and then I can open it up. It just, the small things like that just give it a nicer feel. I really enjoy it. Other than that, they're both just as fast, you know. So I can live with either one of them if something happened to the other as my main driver. But right now, I'm just really loving the Oppo Find N6 as a daily driver. And then, you know, people ask me about battery life. Well, the battery life on this thing, it definitely outlasts the Automagic V5. It's got a little bit larger battery, but I think because of the newer chip in it, you have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 chip in this one, where you just have the Snapdragon 8 Gen in the Honor. So the Elite 5 is really focused on conserving battery and a steady performance. So in that, we can jump to performance. How's the performance on this? On a daily basis, it's great, and I have no issues with it. Its performance is premium. However, when I get to using stuff like InShot and I want to do some editing of videos and whatnot, it's a little bit slower in rendering because the processor does throttle, and I've shown that in other videos. If you want to see this against the Automagic V5, check out this video here. I go into all the details between the two of them, and you can see that direct battle there. But because of that, it really minimizes battery drain. So at the end of the day, this, I'd say, at least has somewhere between 10 to 20% more battery than my Honor does. Now, where the big difference is when it comes to charging. All my phones have, except for the Samsung, have fast charging. And this charges, about, I think it's in second place as far as charging. It doesn't charge really fast, believe it or not. Where you've got the Honor is actually charging 30% faster. Its battery is like, what, 120 megahertz smaller, but it charges at 30% faster. That's ridiculous. And that's with the 66-watt charger versus the 80-watt charger you get with this one. And I even used faster chargers and I get the same results. But that aside, still plugging this thing in, and in 30 minutes, it's charged up to last me all day, no issue. So I've never really had any problem with charging. I plug my phones up at night, nearly every night anyway, so I don't have to worry about charging at all. The biggest consideration is battery life, and this one wins. Now, I get asked all the time, especially when I bring up the Automagic V5 and when I do my challenges. And on every single video, I've gotten somebody or two to say, what about the Automagic V6? Why don't you compare it? Well, because it's not out yet, folks. That's the bottom line. The Chinese version is, and I'm not going to compare that. This is the global version, and this is the global version. I'm not going to throw in the Chinese version because it's just another expense that I can't afford. And right now, I'm not even sure that I'm going to get the Automagic V6. Now, I'm not saying that I don't want to, because I really do want to, but this is a small channel. I buy all these phones with my own money, and we've got more phones coming out. We got the wides coming out, and one that I'm really interested in, of course, is the Motorola Fold, because all the news and press is that it has the best cameras. So that one I definitely want to get, but I don't know that I can afford anymore unless for some reason I'm able to sell these phones. And just a really quick commercial break here, I am selling the OnePlus Open, the Vivo X Fold 5, and even the Honor Magic V3. And these are all on my website if you want to check them out. And they are all in top condition, practically like new condition. I use them mostly for my reviews. So if you want a great foldable, or you want your first foldable and you want it to be a great one, any of those will work. They come with the box and all the accessories. Check it out on gotgoodoldtech.com. So back to it. Will I review the V6? Yes, if I can afford to. And as you can tell, right there was one of my contingencies. Let's look a little more about what the update did on this phone, because my goodness, it is night and day. And we are going to look at night and day shots and videos, because that's where the big difference is. And as far as I can tell, the only thing I can explain about the big difference, because it does say that they fix it so that the photos and everything come out better or more improved, is they fix the white balance, because that's where all the difference lies in the stuff that I took. So check this out. As we pointed out earlier here, we've got these two shots and you can see the sidewalk on this one. Let's go to the next shot here. So now this is a shot right down the street on both of them. And we'll just click in here a little bit and see them both clearly. You can see here that the update gives you a lot better natural coloring. This is more of what it really looks like, you know, versus this over here, which is just a little bit bright. Now you can see the clouds in the sky here because it was a little bit clearer day. This is a little more overcast. Where you can see the differences here in the shadows, you can see the brick better than you can over here in the shadows, and this is a brighter photo. Let's even zoom in a little bit on that shadow area, and you can see the difference. See here? You can see it's highlighted a little bit better here on the update than it is before the update. You can actually see it. And look how much clearer this post is because of it. You got a little more blur here. Everything's much more crisp and clear with this update. You can even see that here on the buildings and such. Here's another closer shot to both of them. You can see the same thing. You know, it's doing a little better here as far as coloring, you know, than the previous one, but this is more accurate on this update on the right. And from my eyes, it is quite a bit clearer. Now let's go to night. So looking here at the portrait shot at night, you can see here, it's got quite a bit of blur going on in the background. Now, if you want to see this, check out this Z Fold 7 against the Oppo Find N video here, where I actually do the night shot and tell you all about it. And the biggest difference is the Oppo here does a lot of artificial bokehing here that looks just too fake. And that's how it was set out of the camera. And as I said in that video, you can adjust that. So I did adjust that. But besides that, with the new update, you can see here that it's not as bright. And what's interesting, I say that, but you can see here, see my jacket, the coloring on the jacket, and you can see coloring on my shirt here, where here on this one, it's just, you know, too dark. The white balance just wasn't doing its job here, even if you forego the bokeh, because I did turn it down a little bit. And I guess I didn't remember here, I did it in landscape, or over here I did it in portrait mode, but it doesn't really matter. You can see the difference here, standing in nearly the same area under this lighting above. Let's go to the extended shot. This is 3x zoom. I stepped away from the camera quite a bit, and you can see the difference here. It's a little bit better here on the before shot, but I think it's much clearer here on the update. So I'm really liking what they did. And then we're going to move on to videos and see this track lighting up top. Big difference. Now, one of the big differences you can see here with this nighttime photo is look how the lights are not blown out up above in the atrium there at night. In the first original, that was blown out. And then we're going to go ahead and sweep to this sign. And if you remember on the original, it did not fade in until I tapped the screen. This one came right in right away. And I was so shocked by it. I had to do a double take. So they really adjusted this white balance really well. And as we walk along here, you can see that everything is much clearer. The first time it was blurry, and this time it's so much better. And you can see the ceiling is not blown out. They've done such a better job with the clarity and the white balance that it's much clearer than it was the first time. So this is just incredible. It's a great upgrade, and I'm so glad that Oppo made this update that I'm happy with it now. Now, as you can see here in front of the screen speaking, I went ahead and muted it because I didn't say the same things both times. But you can see it's a much clearer image on the update than it is on the old version. So this is incredible what they did with it. In my previous video, I showed you how this one outperformed Samsung in photos. Now it outperforms it in videos, where Samsung did it first. So now down to, is this my main driver now? Or am I still using the Honor as my main driver? As I said earlier, I reach for the Oppo before the Honor. But when I'm done testing it, when all is said and done, which one do I prefer? Which one do I like better? It's really a difficult decision for me, simply because I like the AI assistance you get in here. And I explain that in other videos where I do a lot of writing in text and in emails, and I do a lot of dictation. And this one just performs a whole lot better simply because it has that writing assist. Now, that's enough for me. What do you think? You saw them perform, and if you've seen the other videos, tell me which two perform. And now that we've got that update, and this thing, I think it outperforms all my other foldables when with the cameras. It's incredible. If you haven't got the update yet, go ahead and keep checking until you do, because it makes a huge difference. Let me know in the comments if you got the update and if you notice the difference. I want to hear from you guys. Now, again, if you haven't seen the comparison between the Z Fold and the Oppo, check out this video here. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so you don't miss out on more content. And if there's another phone that you want me to do a comparison with, let me know down in the comments. Until next time, have a wonderful day and God bless.